AI video company Synthesia raised a new round of funding. The company today announced it closed a Series E of $200 million at a $4 billion valuation. I want to bring on CEO Victor Riparbelli to talk about where he is going next with his company. Victor, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What are you going to use all this money for?
Look, I think what we've seen over the last couple of years, just that the opportunity in AI video is really, really big. The last 5 years have been all around making it faster and better for people to create video by using AI instead of cameras, actors, studios, and so on and so forth. We think the next chapter of all this is what does AI video look like that's truly, AI native video truly look like? Which means like looking beyond just using AI to create video as we know it. It means video that's going to be interactive. It's going to be personalized. It's going to be video you can talk to if you're consuming a training video, for example, rather than sort of just passively consuming 5 minutes of content. You can now consume some content and go into a conversation with the video. It can pretend to be a customer and do role playing, ask you questions, do a whole bunch of other things. So it's a lot of product development. It's also scaling the core business, which obviously means customer acquisition and hiring more amazing people and all the usuals.
And tell me, how is it that your video generation products, how does it differentiate itself from Google's text to video products? We've had Runway on the show. There's obviously Midjourney in the mix. What's different about you guys?
So I think all the names you're mentioning here, I'd say it's much more about the AI models and actually generating kind of clips. Where I think what we've been very successful with over the last 5 years is to build a true platform of which the AI models is a component, but it goes much further than that, right? So we start helping you write the script of your video, for example. Then we have the avatar technology, of course. We have the video models. You can use Video Free and Sora insights and PC if you want to. We have a full video editor. You can add screen recordings, text animations. It's a collaborative platform. It's a content management system. It's even a publishing platform. We have a video player that's built to work with these AI videos that can deliver the video in many different languages. You can make them interactive. And so I think the reason that Synthesia is winning in the enterprise is because we've really thought about like how do we make this workflow really, really fast, which is about going from an idea to a final video, of which the AI models are important, but let's say that's 20% of that workflow.
So you're taking on Adobe essentially.
We're definitely taking all kind of more workflow-centric companies, right? The ones you mentioned earlier on, I'd say is a much more like model companies. We also develop our own models, but we put a lot of effort into essentially building this like workflow, which involves the video edits, the collaboration platform, and so on and so forth. In terms of the users, I think looking at a company like Adobe, generally Adobe is more products for experts, so people who are experts in video or image or Photoshop, whatever. What we're seeing with Synthesia is more the PowerPoint user, your sort of average office worker being able to quickly go in and start creating video content instead of creating slides, text documents.
Mm.
But sort of in spirit, yes, it's all about like content creation platforms and tools.
How much revenue is the company doing now?
So we announced $100 million in AR in April last year. We're not that public about our revenue for this round, but obviously, raising this, I think set the signal and growing really, really quickly.
And then,
I think
and if you look at the breakdown of the revenue, then what proportion of that is consumers versus enterprises?
it's very high on the enterprises. We made a very conscious decision 5 years ago to build for the world's biggest companies. And so I think what appeals to investors around Synthesia, and I think kind of the multiples we can demand, because it's very, very high quality revenue. We have plus 140% NR, for example. We work with more than 90% of the Fortune 100. But this is not just, individuals kind of signing up with a credit card, playing around, trying to make some cool viral content, social media. This really is the world's biggest companies adopting this as a kind of, a standardized way of how
So
they keep.
this is like more than 50% of revenue is coming from enterprises now.
Significantly more than that.
Oh wow, okay. So it very much is an enterprise video company. Um,
For sure.
Now you guys are also pushing into agents. What does agents look like with video production? Help us, imagine this.
Yeah. So as I said before, the last 5 years really been about like how can we make video production as we know it just better and faster with AI. And I think clearly that's a huge market. There's, we're tackling it from an enterprise central kind of POV. There's other companies doing more consumer. Clearly it's a huge market and we can build a great, really big company based off that. But I think the $100 billion question in this market is, what does truly AI native video look like? And I think that means taking into consideration the fact that we now have LLMs, we have intelligence as a utility, right? We have real-time generation of avatars and videos also coming up inside the platform. And so for an end consumer, what this means is that video will look different. It'll not just be a broadcast where you create one video and then everybody watches exactly the same video. The video will be personalized to every single person that watches it. It'll be interactive. So, the example I gave earlier would think like a training video, for example, rather than having your sales team just passively consume content describing your new pricing policy, you can now have that as maybe the first part of the video, and then it can go into an agentic experience where the agent pretends to be a customer. And for 15 minutes, you have to overcome objections, explain, the pricing policy to to what is, a kind of a simulated customer, which both means that the seller will, understand the content much better. We know that the best way to learn something is a combination of kind of curriculum-based content you consume yourself with a tutor, and also begins to give management and executives a very, very, very interesting data set into how enabled is my workforce. Do they actually understand all the different facets of our sales methodology of our product areas? And that's one of the things that's really appealing in enterprise right now. Everybody wants to upskill their workforce to be able to work with all these new AI technologies, but it's very, very difficult to understand, who's good at what and how can we help improve on whatever they're less good at. And this agent product is a world into that. Eventually, it'll scale to other use cases as well. We're excited about things like having, first screening call for recruiters. You could do that with a Synthesia video with an
Hmm.
agent in it that can interact with the viewer. Customer support. Like there's a lot of other use cases we will enable down the
It,
line, but we're kind of starting with the training one.
it feels like I'm sort of thinking about all the different ways that video can be used, and it feels like those corporate videos are one of the main use cases because I'm thinking about personalized video as it relates to content creation and I mean if you think about movies and YouTube videos, I mean the 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 value of it is having a single piece of art that everyone can talk about seeing the same thing. So I guess what you're talking about is really much more the interactiveness of being able to use video as a way to scale company operations, right?
That's definitely the market that we're targeting. I think, that said, what will be very exciting is to see what kind of new media formats people come up with these new technologies outside of
Mm,
Synthesia as well, right? I think you're right that the appeal of video as we know it is the fact that you have like one piece of art everyone can discuss. But there's also a lot of people that play computer games, right? Computer games is like within certain boundaries, everybody has a slightly different
right.
experience. They play with different people, you choose a different storyline. And I think it's a lot of those mechanics we'll just begin to see seep into video and audio for that matter, right? And that's very exciting. There's a corporate version of it, which is the one that we're kind of going for, and that's all about. We've always said that we're much more about like knowledge sharing type of videos, less like marketing, advertising, storytelling. Really creative use cases. And it's just very obvious that video you can interact with is gonna be so much better almost no matter what use case you're working with in knowledge sharing. Even if it's as simple as you can ask the video a question if there's part of the content that you don't understand.
Now, I want to ask you about your costs here because none of this can be cheap, certainly when it relates back to the compute costs. How are you dealing with that? Because it can't be cheap to run all this in the background.
We actually have like great SaaS margins. We're not one of those companies that's running at a huge
Like
loss.
70%, 75% margins?
Yeah,
Really?
uh, yeah.
This is an
So
AI video company that does real-time agentic video with 75% gross profit margins.
yeah, I mean, well, the live product hasn't launched yet, right? They'll have a different cost profile. But in
Right.
general, when you look at Synthesia as a business, it's not just fast growth, it's high quality revenue, and it's really, really great unit economics. And I think that is, I mean, there's a lot of different strategies, but I think building a platform and selling a workflow rather than just selling here's an API call to my model just means that you can capture much more of the value, right? Part of this, of course, also because we develop our own models, which means we can fine tune them for specifically what we need. A lot of these very big video models, right? They're amazing and creative because they can do absolutely anything you want them to do. But it also means the models have to be very, very big, right? If you're focusing in on like talking head style videos in our world, for example, it just means that you can get them to much better economics as well.
And so what's holding the company back right now? What's the rate limiting step?
I think hiring is probably, one of the biggest rate limiters. Getting people in seat, getting them to, start selling Synthesia, building Synthesia, I think is really, really, getting great talent to any business, I think is always
Right.
like bottleneck. There's a lot of talk in AI about how AI is gonna, replace and automate everything. And of course, that's also happening at a really grand scale in Synthesia. But if you look at it, I mean, AI companies are the ones hiring the most and the fastest right now. And I think that great people and great talent will always be the core DNA of winning companies.
Great. Well, Victor, I want to thank you for coming on the show. That is Victor Riparbelli, the CEO of Synthesia, here on TITB.